Douglas, also known as Chocolate Daddy, is a pioneering force in the realm of strip dance and self-empowerment for men, recognized nationally for his groundbreaking works. As the visionary behind 5 distinctive brands, Douglas has dedicated himself to empowering both men and women through the medium of dance and the power of community. With over a decade's experience, Douglas has cultivated a unique space in the world of personal development and dance, focusing on liberating men into newfound confidence and strengthening family units and sacred unions. Douglas's influence extends beyond the dance studio. He also stands at the forefront of Western Australia's largest men's festival, Brotherhood Awakening, and it is ready to revive the essence of masculinity in Perth and in Australia. Hello, Douglas. Welcome to Heart-Led Changemakers.
Woo! Good to be here, Maryanne. Thank you for having me. That's what
Love
I do.
So we connected, I'll say randomly, except I don't believe in random or coincidence, on Instagram, and your energy beamed through my phone. I wasn't sure really what we were going to talk about, but I knew just intuitively that we needed to chat. And then before I could message you, you messaged me, and here we are. So
Yeah.
no doubt we have loads to chat about, and I feel really excited about this conversation. But one of the things I enjoyed learning about you was your passion for dance. So I'd really like to know, was dance always something you were interested in?
Yup. Ever since I was born in the belly, my mom loved music. She played music all the time. Growing up, she sung to me. She was very obsessed with Michael Jackson, like crazy obsessed with him. She saw him live and she bought all his merch, all his DVDs. And that was my childhood. I grew up listening, watching his videos, skipping the really scary parts in Thriller and just like rewinding his dances and putting on the socks and doing the moonwalk in the house. When I was really young, I would walk around the house fully naked, just with a hat and shoes on. That was me. If anyone came over, I would run to the room, get my hat, get my shoes on, and that was it. I was ready. And yeah, I was obsessed with Michael Jackson growing up, and yeah, I've danced my whole life. And there was a period of 10 years where I pursued other things that I couldn't dance in, but dance has been the essence of my life for such a long time.
I love that. And I love that it was just sort of embedded. It sort of came with you. You know, a lot of our unique gifts and our strengths it have sort of been passed down generationally. Some not so great things, but a lot of the really good stuff, it's in our DNA. And I have Greek background. My dad is from the north part of Greece, and their dance is very tribal. It's almost a meditative sort of state, and so that that essence about music, I sort of grew up with that sort of feeling as well. And there's a passion and a connection in there that you just can't quite explain. And so I've always been into music and dance. I wanted to be talking about the Jacksons. I wanted to be Janet Jackson's backup dancer. So we got that in.
Yes. Yes.
I wanted to be part of the Rhythm Nation, but anyway, I'll stop being silly. But
That's great.
we know that dance is ancient, and we know the power of moving energy through the body. But did you and have you used dance as a way of connecting more spiritually with yourself and others?
Um, I'd I'd say spiritually for myself that yeah, there was a period of my life where I was going through a massive awakening and like I'll be raw and honest with you. This was the time of my life where I was really finding myself and I was seeking myself on in different events, in different doofs and dance floors. I was trying out everything in life. I guess I was lost and I was really trying to find who I am, right? And in this zone of exploration, I found myself in the middle of the dance floor in a doof. I was on my it was on my 25th birthday and a man walked past and he gave me a DMT vape and he's like, "Happy birthday, man. Like you dance really well. Have some of this." Never ever done that on a dance floor. And when I hit it, I sort of had this wild experience of, get ready for this, right? I exhaled and I saw all these hexagons everywhere. My whole world was just hexagons. And I was like, what the hell? Why am I seeing hexagons everywhere? And I would touch a hexagon and it would turn another and turn another and it would hit someone. And when eventually it hits someone, that person would then turn to look at me. And I'm like, whoa, I just made that person look at me from touching this hexagon. So then touch another hexagon and then it would like turn and hit someone. And 2 or 3 people that were in the radius of this hexagon would turn and look at me. And then I realized that my movement had the capacity to draw people in. And I just started moving in this dance floor. And I just saw all these hexagons hitting each other. And it started to create a sphere around me. And it drew people in, and people were turning, and people were magnetized to my movements. And I was just in this space where I had them just through movement. And people were like emoting. They're like, whoa. And like they were reacting to my movements. And I realized I had the power to leave an impression within people and have their spirit awaken through my movement. And this was such a tangible experience that landed in my body. And from that day onwards, from 25 onwards, is when I claimed my purpose. I was here and I am here to liberate people's spirit through movement. And I don't know what it's going to look like. I don't know how I'm going to do that, but I just knew that that experience gave me that. And after that, I was so obsessed with dancing and being seen in dance. And I just went to different ecstatic dances and I connected with people like physically, yes, but most importantly, spiritually. Like their spirit would be so amazed or enlightened or activated after seeing me dance. And they would come and talk to me. And that was a bridge of connection for me and other people to speak about movement, to speak about what our spirit is here to do. And it was an amazing, amazing tool, dance, to be able to do that with people.
I mean, you're an amazing dancer. I've been looking through your Instagram and watching your videos. I mean, it's I don't. I mean, I feel like how much of that can actually be taught. I feel like there's a big chunk. I'd even go like 90%, maybe even 95, maybe even 98% where that some of that has to be natural. That you can certainly learn techniques, but surely, because I can't imagine being able to move in that way. I don't think my hips can do some of those things.
You're lying to yourself, Maryanne.
No.
You're lying to yourself. Hey, thank you. Thank you. I receive your praises. And I challenge that. This is what I do. I challenge people that say that, oh, I can't dance. I don't know if it's me. I don't know if my body can. I have 2 left feet, especially men. I love just challenging men in this because I I used to think that. I used to think, damn, like, I don't know how I'm going to teach all of this to people because I grew up with it and it's so natural to me. And, I wanted to challenge myself in that. And I did. I went to high-level mentors. I got trained by world-class dancers and they broke down dance to me in such a beautiful way that it gave me so much confidence to be able to come up with any movement that I can and break it down to digestible bits. And this is what you'll hear from men from my academy is they say that I have the ability to break down any movement to digestible bits that they can slowly chew on and be more confident over time. And yeah, I love the question that you've asked because I have the proof. I have the proof. I have 55-year-old men who could not move, could not, they were planks. They were like this. They walked into my
What are you talking about? White men, 55-year-old white men,
55-year-old white Australian men with 2 left feet. I've seen it. They've come in and they've said to me, man, I have, they've built multi-million-dollar businesses. They've done a lot for their family, sacrificed a lot of time, and haven't put themselves first. This is what I hear from a lot of men. They haven't put themselves first in such a long time. And now it's their time. So they've started to love themselves again. And they find me on their journey of self-development. And I've worked with these, like, look, I'm going to be honest, it takes a lot of time with older men, like a year and a half, 2 years, but they can move now. They can dance. They can move and they can be in rhythm, which is what one man that I worked with was so afraid of dance, so afraid of rhythm that 20 years ago when he got married, he planned his whole marriage in a way where there was going to be no music, no dance floor, and people would just come, eat, and go. That's how he planned his marriage because that's how afraid he was. And he's now approached that fear and he's like, I need to break through it, man. And after a year of working with him, he now takes his partner Latin dancing, he takes her ballroom dancing, and they have a culture of dance in their marriage because he decided to face his fears and conquer it. And now he can dance, he can move, and it's his own style. And what I want to say here is there is a difference between learning how to dance, learning movement, which is interesting, right? You can be very interesting. But what I teach is how can you be memorable, which requires courage, which requires unlocking your own style and your own spirit, where your spirit gets to animate through movements and leave a memory with people. And that's what I'm all about. And that is dance for me. It's not about the movement, it's about the conversation that the movement can bring.
I mean, how magical is that? That sense of liberation, that gift of liberation that you give people in that way. I mean, that's quite a unique approach. I know, you know, as a kid, I spent more time really observing and sort of watching rather than participating, and it's taken a lot of different things, tools, events, experiences to sort of break that down. And even still, you know, at 47, there's I mean, there's a feeling of sort of being stuck still, you know. And I found when I was drinking, I don't drink now, but when I used to drink alcohol, you know, inhibitions went out the window, and I was like, yeah, I can do anything. I can move. Look at you know, look at the movement. I've got sass, you know,
Yes.
and I do have rhythm. It's not that I can't dance or anything, but that's not real liberation. Being able to express yourself through
Mhm.
dance in that way would
Mhm.
be, I mean, that would be life changing for these people. And so I, you know, how are you with the strip dancing side of things and working with couples in particular? How are you using dance to strengthen that connection?
Maryanne, let me tell you something. So lap dancing is the tool, right? Strip dancing is something that we do for the men, and strip dancing is mainly for performance. Like we builds men's confidence up to the point where they can perform and strip dance in front of people. And we can get into that later, but for couples, it's lap dance. Lap dance has a bad rap about it, right? It's only done in strip clubs. It's only done in, hens nights, and men come and they dance and they leave. But for me, that movement has a different conversation. That movement for me, lap dance as a movement and a style of dance is a conversation of deeper intimacy, a conversation of non-verbal appreciation and honoring of your woman and a woman to man. How can I love you so much in this moment by telling a story with my body to you in a dance that's going to mesmerize you, that's going to show my best features, that's going to have me own myself so much and love myself so much and show that love to you. It takes a lot of work for people that don't have that deep sense of self-love, that deep sense of ownership of their body, and their deep sense of confidence to be able to express such deep love and appreciation and honoring to your other half. And we facilitate this for couples, and we facilitate this in such a way where we break down lap dance and the four pillars of how to give a beautiful lap dance, which is how to build deep love, safety, and unity within each other to then express that magic of lap dance. And
And
we've seen,
it would be fun, right? Like
oh,
I would imagine that you know, it's a playful way for people to connect
yes,
on an intimate level. I think there's a really important part of intimacy, which is the communication side of things, but this is a form of communication. And some people are not great with words. And this is another outlet, another opportunity to deepen that connection and create that expression. Do you find that it takes time for people to surrender and anchor into who they are?
I've only worked like the way we run things, and to be very honest, it takes a lot of courage to step into these spaces. And I only meet couples and men and women that are ready, because they wouldn't be in this space if they're not ready. They're there to take a leap of faith, like together as one, into an experience that is going to strengthen them and bind them together closer. And it is, in my eyes, and the way we hold it, an initiation into the next level of your relationship. So it does take a particular kind of man to lead the woman into a space like that, or a woman to lead a man into a space like that. We've had a lot of women buy the ticket as a surprise and not even tell their partner about it, and bring their partner to it, to a 9-hour lap dance experience, and absolutely blows the men's minds away as to what they were capable of, and where the relationship now heads. And yeah, I really sense courage, the spirit of courage, the spirit of wanting a deeper intimacy and love in their relationship. The couples that are ready for that are the ones that come to us. And we don't push anyone into this. We don't fool anyone into this. It's just straight up, come learn how to lap dance. And yeah, it's for me, what really ignites me about lap dance is, as I said, not only the movement and learning a really cool choreography that you can perform with your partner and show yourselves. And also, if you're in a party and a music and a song comes on that you can hit the lap dance to, it's going to create such a beautiful memory for everyone that's watching. It's not only all of that, but it's actually about, how can I understand my lover just through movements and her body language? If her body is doing this, what does that mean to me as a man? And how can I now converse with her with my body? And how can, as a man, I step in to protect her through movement? Like, am I walking on the right side of the road? Am I opening the door for her? Am I pulling out her chair and putting it in place for her? She can do all these things, but as a man, am I taking ownership and responsibility of my woman, and showing her how much I'm devoted and how much I love her through gestures and movements? Likewise, for a woman, how can I show that I really care and I'm attentive about him right now? How can I show that with my touch? How can I show that with my grace, with my mercy, and how can I express that through movement? So those conversations that we can have with movement is more important than lap dance in itself. And that's what we break down over 9 hours. We break down all that little gestures and the dynamic of power when it comes to man and woman. How can man be in power and call the woman forth? How can woman be in power and call the man forth? We do all of this with no words, just gestures, so that people can really understand the power of gestures and the power of movement, so that if they can move together as one, what they can speak about would be 1,000-fold.
Yes. The sort of similarities that I feel like that it's resonating with is it's kind of tantric in ways, because you're connecting and you're being present with each other. You're watching, you're learning, you're breathing, that the same energy in the same space as someone, but it's not as formal. You're not just sitting there breathing together and all the other moves. But then you've got the other practices where you're communicating and so forth, but it feels like elements of that is in the way that you're teaching these people to connect. And it really feels like a gift, and it feels like I like that you're breaking apart this stereotype, because a lot of people have associations with lap dance, like you said, with strip clubs. I've gone to see the male shows, like Magic Mike and all of those ones.
Amazing.
It was
Amazing.
what was it called back then? It wasn't Magic Mike, because I'm old.
Chippendale?
Which one?
did you go watch Chippendale?
Yeah, the Chippendales, that's the one. With Jamie Jury back in the
Yeah,
day.
yeah.
Um,
Perfect. Perfect.
but so the association is to that, but there's a reason why people go and watch these things, because
Mhm.
there is something that lights you up being on the receiving end of it. And there's a reason why Magic Mike was, went off the charts and so successful, because there's there is a communication and there is a connection, and there is a way of using dance to demonstrate your nurturing side as a female and your strength as a masculine in that way. And it's yeah, I think it's quite revolutionary actually what you're doing, and I like that yeah, you're breaking apart the stereotype. That's a ballsy thing to do for sure.
That's what we do. That's what
Yeah,
we do.
I love
Thank you.
that.
Thank you for saying that. It is, it's been such a hard journey for me to choose this path from my background culturally as an Indian, and also my faith as a Christian, to choose this path, because it goes against both my culture and my religion. It goes against both. And it's been interesting to navigate this as I get deeper with my faith and deeper with my culture. It's been interesting to navigate this for two reasons, because one, I'm faced with so much judgment off the bat. People, I've come to realize that people tend to judge even without them knowing that they're judging. And that creates a separation between us. And if you are a mature spirit here, judgment is not the first thing that comes to mind, and it's actually the curiosity, which is one of the main pillars in the art of lap dance. Is how can we be curious about your lover once again through movement? How are you gonna show how you can be curious about her foot, her ankle, her knees, and how you're gonna bring your awareness to that curiosity? So I'm faced with judgment instead of curiosity, which is always a struggle for me as a man. When someone judges me, I'm just like, it doesn't have the option for me to have a conversation with them about what could be possible from this space now. And secondly, I'm faced with, you know, a very big discord between my religion of faith, and Christianity is very strict with not being lustful, and the spirit of lust is mentioned in the Bible in a way where it can possess people and lead us away from God, which is so true. And my whole narrative of lap dance is to stray away from it being lustful and it being about love, and how can we move in a loving way and almost conquer over the spirit of lust, so that we can bind unions together through love. And yeah, these two challenges have been very big for me to overcome. And now that I've learned, I'm still learning about how to overcome this fully. And as I see the the discord between the two sides, that's what's really made me solidify lap dance only for sacred unions, only for couples, because I was teaching it to single men and single women before, and it was crazy. Like it was almost like every workshop would be a lot of energy to hold. And it got to a point where words wouldn't be enough for me to say, hey, get off each other, because we're moving on to the next part. And I would have to have code words or stop the music and have loud claps to disperse the energy, to just be like, all right, we're done with this, let's move. And it got to a point where it was very hard to do all that and hold that energy. So my partner and I, ever since we came into divine union and sacred union, and just really committed to each other deeply, we then realized it's not for us to hold that space anymore. Let's move into actually strengthening family units, strengthening committed couples, so that man and woman can be so fortified together against the spirit of divorce, against the spirit of separation, against all the spirits that are attacking this Western land with high divorce rates and fatherlessness, and families without a strong fortification of man and woman and kids. Like that breaks my heart. And we now are going against all the spirits that come in the way of that, and actually using this to fortify unions and couples and marriage between man and woman. So that's one way I guess I'm not justifying it, but one way I'm approaching the art form and my faith and my culture to create a whole new culture in a way where we can actually connect with dance and be fortified through dance and unite through dance and against all the judgment, against all the separation and division that's happening in this world.
Well, that's you're transforming that whole industry, and you're bringing the light to the shadow, because the shadow aspects of it are lustful and sleazy and
Yeah.
Very low vibrational in a lot of aspects, but you're bringing the light and you're transforming it, which is exactly why you're on this show, because you're a heart-led change maker. You are being brave and courageous in ways that other people would shy away from. And that is exactly why you're in this conversation with me, because I can see you. I saw that, and this is why I wanted to talk to you. So fuck yeah.
Thank
Woohoo.
you.
All right. So
How to tell it with an Australian podcast.
I don't actually swear that much on this show, but that it just felt like it needed a
That
fuck yeah
deserves it.
there. Yeah.
That totally deserves a fuck yeah.
Sometimes it's
Yeah.
necessary. Yeah.
100%. And I love that you choose to speak and connect with change makers. I think they're a whole different breed of people and the least understood, because for me, I feel like I'm not understood. And I was so challenged with this because people could not understand and see my point of view as to what I was doing with the world. And I just had to prove it. I just had to be like, just watch what's happening right now, because I don't think you have the capacity to understand my words. So actions is what that's proved it. Once again, movement, physical action was what that proved the point of what I was trying to bring through. It wasn't my words, it wasn't my painting, it was my dance, it was my movement that could prove and show people like this is what's going on.
That's so true. I think that's a common theme with change makers, because they're doing things that are unique, and their way of thinking is very unique and very different. It is hard to explain what that feeling is. And I mentioned to you earlier, I interviewed Ryan, who's in Perth as well, who you work closely with. And we were talking about sometimes it can be a lonely space being a change maker, and how that intensity of fulfilling the mission can't really be explained. You just know that you have to. And I think that's one of the other reasons why I wanted to have this podcast, is so that I could talk to other like-minded weirdos like myself who are out there for, helping the greater good and helping transform this world for the better. And I feel privileged with every interview. I feel so privileged that I get to have these conversations, and this is just another one. I recently
I really want to speak into change makers, and I find that they are my people. I call them trailblazers. I call them the people that are at the forefront with a torch in their hand. They are exploring new path that hasn't been explored before, and they are paving the way for people that are following behind, that might not agree with the world, that might not agree with how things have been done. And it takes so much courage and faith within self and God to pave that way. And I know that, it's a lonely road. And what I want to say to all the change makers is that is our gift, is that we can be in that lonesome and still pave that path and lead all these people to providence. And my advice to myself and everyone that's doing this is, people might not get it until you pass away, and even after you're gone and your mission might not be complete. It's about leaving a legacy and a process that the people that are following will then carry forth. That'll take this journey so much further than what we ever could. And for me, I know that, with my parents not understanding, with my people not understanding, with my culture not understanding, I knew that I had to stick to it, because in time that they will get it. I knew that I was ahead of time. I knew that the concepts that I have is so far-fetched that society will not understand until it's proven. And I could have given up so easily over the last 3 years because things got hard and I got faced with so much judgment and hate. But I believed in something greater than myself, and I believed in love. I believed in unity. I believed in the principle that hold us together and could create change. And I believed in that more than I believed in what everyone else is saying. And that's what's gotten me to where I am, and that's what's going to keep me going.
I love that. And that's, again, that's a common theme with change makers and trailblazers is they're at the core of what they're doing is love. And it is about bringing everyone together, back together to our community, to a place where we are in harmony and we feel whole. And there's no imbalance. And it is, there is a lot of work that is being done. And it might be your work, it might be my work, it might be both of ours, it might be, what other people are doing in that space as well. But it might be once we've passed that, we get recognized. I mean, look at Dolores Cannon. I don't know if you know who she is, but her work, is 70 years old. The lady's passed away, and she's like kicking off on social media, and the lady's gone, and so
Let's go, Dolores.
yeah,
Go.
that she left a legacy, but it was ahead of her time. And I look at like years ago, I was like 6 or 7 years ago, I started these videos where I was talking about healing the divine masculine before it was a thing. And it was around the time where there was like the Me Too movement and the Time's Up and all of that. And so women didn't really want to hear about how I thought women needed to support men. No one, women, that it just fell on deaf ears. It was just not the right time. People, it just wasn't. But I deleted all of those videos like a lunatic. I deleted my YouTube channel, deleted all of my content, all of the work that I did. I deleted because I wasn't getting the response, but I wasn't respecting the fact that I wasn't respecting my own genius, and I wasn't respecting the fact that spirit was asking me to do that. Like I as a change maker, and I'm wondering if you agree with this. It's not your business to know all the things. It's your business to get out of the way so that spirit can lead you all the way through that path. And it might not even make sense to you, but you know that that's what you're being asked to do. And spirit knows the whole divine plan. We're muggles for the most part. We can only see so far. We get visions and insight and all of that and that feeling, but ultimately we don't know how everything links together. And I'm wondering, do you feel like that as well?
I am so with you with that. Like, and I just want to acknowledge you, Maryanne, because a lot of people wouldn't admit their wrongs, or not even their wrongs, and the things that is deleted. Like you're speaking about it, right? And people wouldn't admit that because that in that time when you were putting that out, it was completely against the grain.
Yeah.
And I understand the pressure that you would have gone through for you not to be understood. I understand the pressure that you would have gone through from your friends and family going, why are you going the opposite way when the whole world is going this way with women's empowerment? And what spirit was trying to bring through you, and it still is right now, is so beautiful, and it's what I stand for. My number one purpose on earth is brotherhood. And I love that you have the courage to express and to put out art and put out your soul message in that time. And I wish I could have seen that back then. And men really needed that. Men are so left behind with care and affection and love, when all they really want is that respect, care, affection, and love. And it's not expressed to them in a way where they receive it. And that's why they go and drink, and that's why they go and take substances, and they chase it through things that are not fruitful. And we lose 1 out of 4 men every day to suicide. And I just think that that is, yeah, that hurts my heart. And I've lost brothers in this realm, in my walk of life, to suicide. And all that I do is to just make this place a better place for men, change the conversation around how men deserve love and how women can be the provider of so much care and affection that we so deeply desire. And
Yes,
yeah, I
because
love.
there's an unusual thing that's happening at the moment where women are a lot of women, not all women, but a lot of women are doing the work to balance their feminine, because women have been taught and conditioned to be in the masculine. So they're healing that part. So they're doing the work, the good fight to be the divine feminines that they are. And there seems to be a lot of divine feminines. To me, being out there on socials and just around the place, it feels like there's more divine feminines than there are divine masculines. But that's also because men haven't really been given the space to do that work, because they've also, even though they're men, and they've and a lot of men have been on the receiving end of a lot of benefits, they have also been at the mercy of the toxic masculinity as well. And I think that's where some of the disconnect is, because I think some women don't understand that men have also been affected by the patriarchy the same way. But they haven't had the support, not only with each other as a brotherhood, but also they don't know how to let themselves receive that care. I am a single female. I'm out there, and it is very unfortunate that there are a lot of men who don't know how to receive love and care. It freaks them the fuck out.
Yeah.
And it's sad. It's so sad, because everyone deserves love and care. And there's a part of them that really wants to, and then there's another part that hasn't been healed, and they just can't, and they can't explain it. But if you've done some work, it's easy to recognize. And there's an operating system for men who haven't stepped into that space yet, that they are playing superficially. So the focus is on the alcohol, the drugs, the toys, the looks, the hot chicks, that look like Barbies or whatever,
Yeah.
that there's it's almost like a cardboard cutouts of all the things that you should have in order to be happy. But if you tapped on, just, you gave it a little tap, all of those things would crumble, because there's nothing behind it. There's no wholeness in there. And you can feel that with men as a collective. There's a lack inside that they are craving, and you can feel it. Like, I can feel it as a divine feminine. I can feel that shit out there. And it's hard to watch. And I think until that wound is healed, I think we're going to still find ourselves in a bit of a mess. Would you agree with that? What are your thoughts on that?
Yeah, I would just love to better understand you, Maryanne. And for me, we use different language, but we pretty much speak the same. We sing the same tune, but we use different language. I want to know what your definition is of like divine masculine and divine feminine. So like as a characteristic, so I understand, and then I can probably understand the question that you've asked about the wound, and I can answer that better.
When I think about the divine feminine, I think about the fact that she knows how to nurture. She knows how to stay in her softness. She knows how to play. She knows how to create. She knows how to use her strength without mimicking the masculine. She knows that her strength is being the feminine, is holding that beautiful embodiment of that feminine energy, where she can express herself freely and wholly. That's what I see as the divine feminine. There's no shackles. It's just flow. And when I think about the divine masculine, it feels safe, and it feels calm, and it feels patient, and it feels strong, and it feels, to me, sure. That energy feels sure, and it feels stable. So when I talk about the divine feminine and the divine masculine in the way people are behaving, that's what
Yeah.
they're typically modeling, if you will. So there's
Yeah.
there's
Yeah. Gotcha.
a settledness in both energies, if that
Yeah.
makes sense.
Yeah, I do get that now. And what I'm hearing for me to understand that is, activated people, activated woman, activated man, they know their purpose, they know why they're here. They're centered in their feminine and masculine energy, and they'll live and express through masculinity, like masculine values like integrity, honesty, strength, like truth, being able to be so certain. And with feminine, the women, they're more rooted in feminine values of softness, care, gentleness, mercy, affection, and nourishment. You know, their real purpose on earth. I would call them biblical purposes, because in the Bible it states how to be a man and how to be a woman, and it's true. It is a divine nature to be that. It is of divine nature to be able to embody that. And you know, I acknowledge that there are men that are that, and there are men here to test that, to challenge that, and there are men here that is not their path for them to be that. And for me to come to terms with not needing to change the world, but to, yeah, this is it. I'm not here to raise the sheep into lions. I'm here to raise the sleeping lions back into their original state of being a fucking lion. And I say this because I have tried so fucking hard yelling and preaching and bringing brothers that I've walked with in the past up with me, with so much accountability and so much love and care, and they don't want to move, they don't want to budge, they're happy where they're at, and I've had to accept that that is their sovereign right to be that. And it was a deeper test of compassion, a deeper test of understanding, and a deeper test of patience for me to come to terms with, can I still love this man for who he is and serve him, and be okay with that? Because my purpose is to liberate men, and this dude doesn't want to be liberated through my perception. So what I learned from the journey of that was that I just need to be more merciful. And I always come back to how Jesus lived his life and the amount of mercy that he showed the world through his life and his sacrifice. To even practice a smidge of that was very testing for me. And this is what I had to do. I had to just practice mercy and love the man for his choice, and be there for him when he falls, and be there for him when he's up. And I kind of had to step away from considering myself as awakened or activated or enlightened, because it put a lot of pressure on me. I had to walk this earth with so much pressure, knowing that, what am I going to do with all this information? What am I going to do with being this activated? What am I going to do with being so divine, as you call it? And how can I just be a fucking man and relate and speak the language of men, and speak the language of lions, and speak the language of sheeps, and speak the language of this? Because what I've realized is, and there's a really beautiful story that I can go into if you want, but what I realized is, people at the end of the day, they just want to be themselves. And some men, what I've come to realize is, they don't want to be warriors. They don't want to be, I've met men over their 50s that they've done a lot of king shit and warrior shit through their early teens and adulthood, when they're in their grandfatherhood or heading into their grandfatherhood. They just want to be soft. They just want to be more compassionate. They just want to be, gentle and be slow. And they're not here to sing the tune of lions. They're here to retire. And they've chosen that path. And I've met men in their 80s that are in the gym getting it. And I'm like, I love you, bro. You're a fucking beast and you're a lion. I love you. You're my people. And you know, the whole perception and the range of masculinity is so broad. And my message to all men is, how can we be a brother to all, right? And a king in our own realm. And how can we love every man so much? And this is it. this is it, man. Like I notice a lot of people talk about what it is to be a man, and only if you achieve deep integrity, only if you achieve deep strength, only if you have a job, if you have this, only if you provide for your family are you a real man. Only if you treat women with so much love and care are you a real man. I'm saying it doesn't matter what condition you like, it doesn't matter what conditions you apply upon a man, he is still a man regardless. Even if he's behaving like a child, even if he's behaving like a boy, which a lot of men are, a lot of men in their 30s and 40s are behaving like boys. And the reason why it's that is because they're still being treated like that. This, oh, it's just a fucking boy. It's just a teenage. If we were to give the men that are behaving like children the respect that they deserve as men, and see them as men and speak to them as men and call them forward as men, which is men's responsibility to do, I think this world would be such a beautiful united space for brothers to just be with each other and hold each other up, and really step away from the labels that separate us and just boil things down to simplicity, where we can just be like, she's a woman, she's a man, and really keep it so clear and succinct that kids don't confuse themselves with what a man is and what a woman is, and what their gender is growing up. Because as a man, I'm really protective. I'm very primal about traditional masculinity and what we stand for in this world, and I will protect that. And with all the new agendas and ideologies coming into this world of what a man is and what a woman is, I think we just really need to boil that down, keep it as simple as we can, and serve each other as man and woman.
I love that so much. And I mean, I feel like that philosophy can be applied to so many things, because not everyone, you're right, not everyone wants to be a lion, and not everyone is meant to either. And there are people parading around as lions who we're going to soon see very quickly with all the shenanigans that are going to be coming through this year, that we can predict all the agendas are going to push this to the surface. But there are the people who are pretending to be lions are going to fall away, right? Yeah, they put a mask on as a lion, but they're not lions. There is such a unique difference. But there's something that you said about pulling that all apart, and just, what can I do in this moment to just love this other human being? What can I do in this moment to lead this other human being? Because ultimately, as a change maker, that's your role. Your role is to lead. It's not your business whether they do or don't. Your mission and your purpose is to put your work out there, and whatever happens, it happens after that. But it's not your business. Your business is to create. Your business is to follow spirit's guidance in whichever way it is shown to you, so that other people who are a match with that, who are activating, and it might be that they activate 10, 20 years down the track, they may never in this lifetime, and that's fine. But I think there comes a point where, and I feel like this is what you're saying, there comes a point where you have to just be in acceptance and have compassion. And that's that combination, acceptance and compassion, that people are just where they are. And if you are truly of faith, whether it's God or spirit, the universe, whoever you believe in, and whatever you connect to, at the end of the day, we have to be in acceptance that everything is perfect now, even when it feels like fucking tornadoes are going off all around in the world and everything is falling apart. There has to be somewhere in there that you come back and accept that person is perfect as they are. I don't need to change them. It's not my job to do that. And it is hard, because you're a human being, and as human beings, we do get frustrated, we do get annoyed. We would love everyone to snap out of it and all come together very quickly. Wouldn't that be amazing? But that's not.
I think there's a saying. I think there's a saying floating around a few years back when I went to a different community, and they were all about plant medicine, and really opening up the mind. They were like, only if we can put all this plant medicine in the water supply and awaken everyone. And I found that so funny, because I was like, man, it would be chaos if that happened. I don't think this world is meant to have a lot of awakened people in there. I think this world is meant to have a balance.
I had a friend who she was very wrapped in the uh all the agendas and the conspiracies, like a lot, very hardcore. And she would pray that it would just be chaos, like, you know, the basically the plug got pulled and everyone woke up, and it was just, it's never going to happen. Was never going to happen that way. And the putting the plant medicine in the water isn't, the irony of that to me is, isn't that the same thing as putting all the chemicals in there that they do at the moment? Like, what's like, the irony is that you're behaving in the exact same way, but you're saying, you know, this is better. And obviously it probably would be, but you know, it is the same behavior. It is coming from that same place. And all of that
you become your enemy when you do that.
That's right. And all of that is coming back to a place where you're not in acceptance that things are the way that they are, and they're perfect in this moment now. And it is a challenge to feel that way when things feel challenging, when things feel annoying, when people are pissing you off left and right. It feels really hard to do that. But that's our practice. And that's how we honor ourselves and other people, isn't it?
Ooh, yes. Yeah, 100%. I think regardless of your beliefs, Maryanne, regardless of your faith, regardless of, you know, your values and your understanding of life, I'm going to respect and love you because you're a fucking human first. Yeah, sister. And I'm going to share as much love and compassion and express that in the space that we're in when I'm with you, because you're human and you deserve that as a human being. Like, that's your God-given right. And I think that's the purpose of why he's put us onto this earth, is to show that. And I truly believe that's why Jesus had to come down and show us a way to connect with people and show us the power that we have within ourselves when we align with God and have a relationship with God. And the legacy of Jesus is the biggest on earth. There's more than 2 billion people that are Christians that pray every day because of what he taught. He said, hey, this is how you can talk to God. And he prayed. And there is so many beautiful lessons in the Bible that makes me a better human, just a man that can like walk this earth and have a deeper understanding of what it is to be compassionate. And in my early days, I wasn't a compassionate man. Not for myself, not for others. And I lacked patience, and I lacked all these biblical virtues and values that has really made me a man that can have the strength, like the spiritual strength and the spiritual stamina that is needed for my journey. Because there comes a point for all trailblazers and all change makers where no longer brotherhood can stand by your side because you are alone. No longer your partner can stand by your side because you're alone. There comes a point in every leader's life where you're going to be so alone, and the only thing that can get you through isn't on earth. It has to be on the spiritual realm. And this is where you have to convene with God. This is where you have to convene and have a relationship where it is conducive. It is a friendship. It is back and forth. God is telling you this, and he's saying no to that. And he's saying loudly, hey, go here right now and do this for this person. It doesn't make sense. Trust me. Like what you said, doesn't make sense why I'm doing this right now. I just got to trust it, you know, and it comes a point for every change maker, every trailblazer, where he has to be in that, or she has to be in that spot where there has to be a communication with God. Otherwise, you won't have the strength to face the world. And demonic spirits and spirits that are here to distract you from your mission, spirits that are here to pull you away from creating change and bring in more love in and bring in more unity in, they're going to attack. They're going to come for you. And I've had so many change makers reach out to me and be like, bro, where can I get a Bible? And I knew, I'm like, that's the time. And he's about to break through. He's needing more knowledge. He's needing more spiritual strength and stamina and wisdom to guide him through this point in his life, because he's about to do something big. And the times that my brothers have reached out to me and we've prayed together and been in prayer just to get through hardship, boy, when they come out the other side, having defeated the level that the devil was in, every level has a new devil, and it takes deeper faith. It takes deeper faith to get through every step. And I would much rather that life than be okay with where I'm at and deal with deal with the world with what it's at. I think this is our responsibility as change makers, is to accept but also carve out the world that we dream of. You know, we're all dreamers. You dream, I dream, and at any given moment, the dreamer with the most powerful dream that is placed into action wins the moment.
Yeah.
And I think if we can just dream big and keep bringing that dream through us into this world and weave God's will into earth through our spirit, if the dream is big enough and it helps enough people, I think the dream and the spirit will continue even after our time. Just like Doreen, is her name Doreen?
Dolores.
Dolores, just like Dolores. Her spirit's still moving. It's still moving right now because her dream was big, and her faith was deep as well. I bet. I don't know this woman, but if it still lives, it
I'll
lives for a
send
purpose.
you I'll send you the link of her. But she, it's I mean the concepts that you talk about, I think can, even if someone isn't religious, or who is not, so who has an affinity or some trauma associated to that, even just meditation, group meditation, and even meditation within yourself with your higher self, which is the universe, God, however you want to interpret it, but finding that that conversation with your higher source, wherever that's coming from, I think is the game changer. And you're right, there is a point where you have to accept that, yes, you've got a community and a sisterhood or a brotherhood around you, but at the end of the day, this is your unique path to carve, like you said, and it is yours to walk alone. And at the end of the day, we come in alone and we leave alone as well. And it is our job to find that and stay connected to that truth. And you're right, the stronger and the deeper you get into that work, the more of that dark shadow, those dark shadow aspects, those entities, those distractions start to really ramp up. And it's almost like a spiritual hygiene that needs to happen, kind of like showering and brushing your teeth. There has to be, it's like you can't have one without the other. Like the more you level up in that way, it is like a partnership where you actually have to start taking care of yourself that way. Otherwise, you start to actually feel the physical aspects within your body. And given that your expression is dance, one of your expressions is dance, do you feel like dance is a way of shaking that shit off as well?
Yeah, 1,000%. Like somatic awareness, and when we teach our students somatic awareness, like every student that comes in, they don't know what the word somatic is. They don't know how it applies to the human body. We educate them on, hey, if you're feeling tension here and here and tension anywhere, we'll pause the class and we'll be with that. And there has been so many moments in class where I've had men rage at my face. I've had men break down and cry in my studio because they have emotions moving through their body. I've had men cry down in tears of joy from not experiencing how free they could be with their body. And to create that space for men, and to bring awareness to that moment, and to bring awareness to their body, saying, this is just your body, man, and it's just expressing in this moment, and this is the truth of what you feel. Be loud in it, take up space with it, and when they do that, they allow themselves to just fully be. And we're just guiding men to be themselves here, not a heightened idea of who they are, or not their values and all of that. We're just like, hey, just come as close to you and your spirit as you can in this moment, and be with that is wanting to move through you. And when we teach dancers this, you'll know this, when they go through that experience, the next time they come into studio, they are different. They're like, man, I feel myself more. I feel my thoughts better. I know what is me and I know what it isn't. I know what my style is and I don't know what it isn't. I've had men walk into the studio on the third time out of 8 weeks. 8 weeks, we do a course. Third course, they dress completely different because the energy that they're moving in is in dance is causing their whole reality to be more fluid, to be more inspired with colors, to take risks with movement and style and fashion, and be stylish and be expressive. And it wouldn't happen if it's not for dance moving through them, and energy of their spirit being shaken up and going through a change within them.
I think so, letting spirit move through you, especially if you feel like energy is stuck or you feel like you're about to go through a breakthrough, just letting yourself physically shake that shit off and just letting yourself dance. I live on my own, so I blast the music and I dance around the house like a lunatic, and
Yes,
it's so,
Maryanne.
it's freeing because you're literally letting it go. Sometimes I love meditation and I love breath work, and all of that part is important, but sometimes your body needs to physically move it, and it's not through walking or weights or that kind of
Gym.
exercise. It actually, it needs an intensity. It needs drums. It needs a beat. It needs, hands in the air waving like you don't care, all of that, hips moving, thrusting, whatever. But I feel like spiritually, it feels like a really quick and easy and free way of letting that energy move out of you and through you.
Ooh.
So I don't know that there's enough talk about this, actually, now that I'm saying it to you. I don't feel like there's enough about that as a way of clearing your energetic body. And I think that that's a good conversation to have, because it is powerful. And as, like you said, as we go deeper into the change making sort of process and our mission, as the energy intensifies, that's a really quick and easy way. You can be standing in a toilet cubicle and just move if you wanted to, if you were in a workplace,
Not the best place to be moving, but if you feel like it, you can do it. It's so
maybe not
true,
while you're
Maryanne.
weeing.
I feel like in the culture of Western Australia, and Australia in general, and Western cultures in general, the culture of celebration is dim. And what I mean when I say that is, if you were to come to India, where I'm from, South India, and if you were to come to any celebration that we were to have, funeral, birthdays, we celebrate harvest, we celebrate the festival of lights, and there are very unique festivals that we celebrate. The music is loud. Everybody is dancing. Old, young, man, woman, child, grandfather, everyone dances. There's so much color. Like, it's a colorful place, and everyone's passionately speaking. And the culture of celebration here is in its infancy. Like, Western culture is quite infant compared to my culture. My culture, my language, it's been alive for 4,000 years old, more longer than that. Tamil, I speak it, and my ancestors have spoken the same words as I'm speaking right now, right? So we have grown as a culture, and our celebration in our culture is a very imperative part of the culture. So when it comes to Australian culture, my duty here is to enhance the lives of others and create a culture of dance within their homes, within their unions, within their marriage, within brotherhood, within sisterhood, in a way where we can dance without needing any substance and just be free to express and celebrate one another. And I feel like more than dance in itself, we have to focus on the celebration of the culture of celebration. I feel like that is what's needed, and infant cultures, adolescent cultures. If you look at any natural living being, right, in their infancy and adolescence, that's when they're the most joyous. That's when they're the most like curious. And my question is, Western culture being one of the most, adolescent cultures compared to all the other ancient cultures out there where celebration is massive, what is it going to take for this culture to flip over to the other side where we can celebrate, where we can dance, where we can do all these things without needing drugs and without needing substances or mushrooms or anything, and just allow the spirit to be so bold and bright and free, where we can just be in celebration and celebrate life.
Yes, and come together as a community to do that. I mean, that's the optimum, isn't it? That's the dream, if you will. And it makes so much sense to have that as the thought and the thing at the forefront of your mind, especially with the work that you're doing. That's, I mean, that's the end goal, isn't it? That is what you want to see, and what a difference our world would be if people were actually just letting themselves play and
Let loose.
actually, yeah, just let loose. Like, stop being so serious, for crying out loud. Who cares? Who cares what you
Yes,
look like? Just dance, for crying out loud.
yes, yes.
Yeah. Yeah, I think as a society, especially in Australia, we are we're very serious and very judgy. It is
Yeah,
everything is about the outside, what it looks like. No one's really caring what's happening on the inside, which is why we've
yeah.
got the suicide rates that we've got, why we've got the divorce rates that we've got, why
It's
people
why
are.
cancer manifests in the society more.
That's
It's why
right.
diseases manifest in the society more because our spirit is inhibited. It's held back. It's
Right.
not being expressed. And when
No,
spirit is dimmed, the body dies. So,
I mean,
it's very,
I think we should just say that again. When the spirit is dimmed, the body dies. That in and of itself is like a chef's kiss. Like, if we can leave the audience with one thought, it should be that when you're dimming your light, when you are holding yourself back, when you're not honoring your body's movement from freedom, when you're not giving yourself permission in that way, parts of you start to die, and that can sometimes be on a physical level as well. Like,
oh,
it
definitely.
will
It
inevitably,
will
left
be.
unattended, will
Will be.
translate into the physical.
It's all in the body. Like everything that happens in the spiritual is in the body. If you're going to be judging people, if you're going to be hiding, right, hiding in a shell and covering your stomach and being so insecure, over time you're going to hunch, and when you're 40 or 50 you're going to be walking around hunched, and your body will physically manifest your spirit. And if your spirit is holding on to such baggage that you're not doing anything about, your body will become that.
Yes.
And that's why the body never lies. And if someone is, oh, I love this. If someone comes into the studio acting really cocky, I'm gonna know if that is real or not, because when they start stepping back into the third line or the fourth line in my studio, I'm like, bro, you're all talk. Come up the front. Why are you sneaking off to the back? I thought you were the man. What's going on? And the body never lies. And that's why I choose the art of non-verbal communication and expressing with the body. That's why I want to liberate the body. That's why I'm here to show people the magnificence of this God-given vessel that is so intelligent beyond our own comprehension, with miraculous properties, with healing abilities, with being able to manifest such large frequencies for the liberation of Earth, for liberation of our own body and mind and soul. And we've been gifted this, and it's not being used in ways that is different. It's not being used to its fullest. It's not being used in ways where it's bringing an impact and influencing people. And this is why change makers are the bomb, and why we vibe so much is because we challenge the norm. We challenge, how else can this body be used? How else can my mind be stretched? How else can I embody an energy that this world needs right now?
Yes, and be an empty vessel for that new information to come through to share as well. I set that as an intention every day, because I don't want to start my day with assumptions of what's going to happen or how things are going to be. And I love my calendars and my work is organized OCD style, right? So it's really important for me to stay humble, and also to just remember that I am just a vessel. The information that is coming through is it's not my creation. I'm just channeling that through to share, and that is it. And I just need to get out of the way, like we
Mm-hmm.
all do, and give ourselves permission to be free. And again, I think dancing is, I think, hopefully our audience are starting to understand that maybe they need to move their butts and put some music on. Maybe they'll do that after this podcast. Chuck some
Yeah,
tunes on and wiggle that butt. And maybe do that.
absolutely.
and maybe do that as a regular practice after a day of work. You know, if they're working in corporates or in jobs that are feeling a bit low vibrational, maybe actually just dancing to shake that energetic stuff off is a really good energetic hygienic practice, which I
Yes.
think is a beautiful gift to share. I I'm gonna ask you one last question. I feel like we've covered it anyway, but I always ask this question. What do you love most about being a heart-led change maker?
What do I love the most? I am doing something that no one has ever done in the history of mankind. I don't know another person that is using lap dance and strip dance to bring couples together, to fortify them, to unify them, to strengthen them, to, yeah, bring man and woman together so powerfully through lap dance. So I think, you know, I pride myself in being unique and authentic, and I feel like my mission expresses that as well. So
Yes,
that's what I love about being a change maker, is walking a very authentic path, spirit-led authentic path.
definitely. And it certainly shows. And I'm looking forward to seeing all of this unfold and have it spread like wildfire through Australia. That'd be nice.
Yes, yes. And I want to say, Maryanne, I have a sensation that when you start dancing more and approaching this world with a little bit of dance, you're going to meet a beautiful man that's going to sweep you off your feet, take you for dances.
Yeah.
And I would love to see you guys in our lap dance classes when we tour Australia.
Well, that's it. Maybe I will. I certainly need to take that advice. I definitely need to dance. If anything, I feel very I feel like the universe is like, I think we've been telling you to do that, but you haven't. And I spent a lot of time being way too serious. And so
Wow.
it was only last week that I was saying to my girlfriends that there needs to be more play. Like I can't just be working all the time. And especially now with the work that I'm doing, that's a very serious kind of work. So I need
Yeah.
to counteract that. So I step back
Maybe
into that.
bring dance into that.
Yeah, yeah. Maybe I will. Who knows what
Yeah.
I'm gonna do there? But I feel like I need so I can balance the feminine in me so that I can receive that beautiful masculine. I need to be in that expression. And so I fully take that on board and I
Boom.
receive that as a intuitive guidance. Thank you. Yes, I hear it, I take it, I accept it.
The man's coming. Where
That's it.
is he?
Yeah, well, he will. I feel after talking to you today and even having that conversation with Ryan earlier this morning, I feel hopeful that there's beautiful men in Australia who are really starting to do that inner work to really step into that beautiful masculine. I I look forward to more lions waking up and
Mm.
seeing that. So it feels more like the mass rather than a diamond in the desert. But the I think all of this work, all of the work that change makers do, and all of this work is so important. All of it is a contribution, and it will inevitably unfold into a world that is just fucking magical. That's what I think. It'll
Yeah.
take some time, but we'll get there.
And I just want to say, sis, there are so many men in Perth that I know, so many men in Perth that I know that are like awakening up. And we have Western Australia's biggest men's festival called Brotherhood Awakening that we run. We had 130 men last year. And this
Wow.
year is going to be even more. And there's men from as young as 18 all the way up to 60. And yeah, all different walks of life, they are leaning in. Like there is a massive revival happening in Australia with men awakening and choosing a better life and choosing a better path for their spirit. And I promise you and all the women that are listening to this, like, be patient. You know, there was a revival for all the women a while back,
Yeah.
and women always lead. And when it comes to the spirit and when women lead, men will follow. And when men lead, women will follow. And this beautiful dance that happens. And it's our time and it's happening. And
Yeah.
stay tuned to Brotherhood Awakening. Stay tuned to what's happening here with men and be the change makers with conversation. And I think it's a woman's duty to not change a man or speak to him about changing, but definitely care and love him towards a direction that he can go to, find deeper love for himself with other brothers, with other men that can forge him to be a man, because that's what we do.
Yeah, and just holding that space and having that faith that they will eventually move into that, and they can and they will.
Yeah.
And that's that's why we keep going with the way that we are, and we haven't lost our faith. But I'm excited that there is a momentum building in Australia, and I feel so grateful to have you on the show and to have had this conversation with you. It's been an absolute privilege and an honor to chat to you about all of these things. How can the audience, I will share all of your information, but how can our audience connect with you? What's the best way?
So audience, pull up your phone. Once you pull up your phone, you want to go to Instagram. You want to type in chocolate_daddy. That's DADDIE. Type that in. That's me. That's how you can get in touch with me. The best is on Instagram. And Maryanne, I thank you so much for this platform. I loved coming on here and just being and conversing with you and communicating with you. And I hope the viewers got so much from this, because I know there's so many golden nuggets here, and life-changing golden nuggets and inspiring golden nuggets that can nudge you closer to your spirit and find your truth. And to all the listeners that are listening, I just want to, thank you for your time as well, for tuning in, and support Maryanne, support us. And I will be coming to the East Coast in a few months. I'm going to be there in June, and we're doing a bunch of workshops from Brisbane to Melbourne to Sydney and all of that. And if you guys align with any of that and want to do some lap dancing and find some deep love with your partner, make sure you follow and come and check it out. And I hope, and I know, Maryanne, by that time you're going to have a beautiful man, so you should come and check it out too.
Well, when he arrives, I'll be sure to make a trip over to Perth or wherever you are, and
Yes.
we'll definitely do that. I think that sounds like fun.
Yes. I've been to Adelaide. If I didn't live in Perth, I would live in Adelaide. It's perfect.
Adelaide is like a mini Perth, so that makes sense. Yeah.
Yeah, it's like Melbourne and Perth put together. That's what I think about it. Yeah. I love it. I love it.
Well, I'll look forward to seeing more of your work unfolding, and I'm sure this won't be our last conversation, but thank you again for being on the show, and I'll see you soon.
Thank you. Boom.